He's one of the most affable hosts on TV, but behind the scenes, Carson Daly has been struggling with debilitating conditions and serious family tragedies. Carson Daly's first encounter with a significant tragedy happened quite early in his life. When he was only 5, his father James died from bladder cancer. He'd previously recovered from the disease around the time that Carson and his sister were born, but then, unfortunately, the cancer eventually returned. Carson didn't exactly find it easy to navigate the loss of a parent at such a young age.
I get pictures mixed up with actual memories. I remember as being a teenager actually feeling guilty for that.
In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic presented an opportunity for Daly to find closure. He recreated a vintage photo of his father pouring drinks soon before his death. The project was executed with precision, involving green screen mastery and the works. Daly even slipped on the blue UCLA jacket that his father wore in the original picture.
In a weird way, it's given me some sort of closure. It got me closer to him, and that's something that I feel like I really have been yearning for.
Carson Daly has emerged as a leading morning show voice on mental health and the normalization of therapy. His own encounters with anxiety began at a young age, as he considered himself to be a bit of a worrywart kid. During a personal segment on an episode of Today in 2018, he explained what it was like living as a public figure who doesn't exactly have perfect control of his own mental state when he's in front of a camera.
This is the way I was born. This is the way I'm hardwired. This is kind of the downside of the way God made me.
Daly has been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, a condition that affects over 3% of the American population, but less than half ever seek professional treatment. Daly has sought out cognitive behavioral therapy and made it a part of his self-care routine. On busier days, his anxiety is worse. As he wrote in an essay for Today, "My mind starts racing and I start to spiral a little bit." His coping techniques include talking freely about his anxiety, which has helped to destigmatize the condition. With decades of experience, Daly is quite the seasoned TV personality. Whenever he's in front of the camera, he's pretty much the picture of laid-back confidence. But that presentation isn't always as effortless as it may seem. And it turns out that in addition to his anxiety, he's also experienced panic attacks while on the job. As he admitted to USA Today in 2022, "On The Voice, when I'm live on Monday nights, most of the time my right hand is in my right pocket and I'm literally gripping onto the flesh of my thigh because I'm waiting for a high panic moment to pass." Daly has also experienced panic attacks while with family and even in relaxed settings like playgrounds. His open conversations about mental health have been a prominent feature of his on-air personality, including a segment called Mind Matters. While Daly is now an influential voice on the subject, the first time that he experienced a panic attack, he didn't even know what was actually happening. As he revealed during an episode of Today, "I had a hard time breathing. I was terrified for no apparent reason. At times, I feel like there's a saber-toothed tiger right here and it's going to attack me and kill me. I'm scared, as if that's really happening. You feel like you're dying. In fact, I went to the hospital." In his early TV presenter days, Daly dated some of the most high-profile names in showbiz. One of them was Jennifer Love Hewitt. The two of them coupled up in the late 90s after a 2-second meeting during his MTV days. Their frequent collaborations for the music network brought them closer, and they kicked off a relationship that spanned many red carpet appearances over the course of several months. As Hewitt told Rolling Stone in 1999, "I think we deserve a huge round of applause. I think we've done a really good job. It's been almost a year now." But before the year was over, the relationship had run its course. Daly apparently found out about the split in the most unsavory way imaginable, with shock jock Howard Stern announcing it on the radio. During an interview with People magazine, Daly recalled telling Hewitt, "If we were going to break up officially like this, maybe we could have just talked about it. I don't see why you had to tell your publicist." 5 years later, the pair reunited on TV on an episode of Last Call with Carson Daly as they looked back at their romance fondly and a little awkwardly. Daly didn't mince his words about how he felt, though they did seem to finish up on good terms with a quick peck on the cheek.
It ended a little weird, I gotta be honest, a little weird.
It did, but that doesn't matter.
A little weird. Well, not to you,
matter.
but, well, all right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is what it was like. Check. It doesn't...
Life dealt Carson Daly another tough hand in 2017. That year, he lost both his mother and his stepfather in quick succession. Like her son, Patty Daly Caruso was a longtime media personality with a show of her own. She died at her California home in September following a heart attack. And then, just 5 weeks later, Daly's stepfather, Richard Caruso, also died from bone cancer. Daly was exceptionally close to both of them. In a touching tribute on Instagram, he wrote of his stepfather, "The greatest man we ever knew. He exemplified great faith, loyalty to family, and hard work. He provided us all with so much. We're grateful." After losing his biological dad when he was 5, Daly was lucky enough to live with a strong father figure in Caruso, though it took some time for the young Carson to warm up to him. As Daly revealed to Kingdom magazine, he never tried to force anything in creating a relationship with me and my sister. Eventually, they found a shared interest in golf, which helped to deepen their bond. Carson Daly's commitment to raising cancer awareness is obviously quite personal, as the disease claimed the lives of both his father and stepfather, and almost his mother's as well. Patty Daly Caruso had a bout with breast cancer that she recovered from decades before she died in 2017 of a heart attack. The family then unearthed an old letter that she wrote back in 1998 when she was dealing with the cancer. As her son wrote on Instagram, she clearly thought she might not make it. We never knew. His mom's bout with cancer was especially tough for Daly because he was also living in the opposite end of the country at the time. And her death was shocking and sudden, considering that only a few hours before she passed, she'd been tending to her husband while he was living with cancer. In 2021, on the anniversary of his mother's death, Daly shared his final heartwarming text exchange with her, in which she called him the best son on the planet Earth and also said, "Thanks for all you did and do to make our lives better and to make us so proud of you."
She died at 73, but she lived a life passionately twice as much, so she really died at 146.
Losing his parents within weeks of each other also had a profound impact on Carson Daly's relationship with his own 4 children. As he shared during an episode of Today, "My parents were overly proud. I sometimes try to love my kids, I think, less, almost on purpose, because I'm so scared of loving them too much. Because my parents, my mom especially, loved me so much, it was almost too much." The death of Daly's mother familiarized him with the idea of love translating to grief. As he explained, "It hurts so much because I'm so bummed that that love isn't there anymore, and that's a byproduct of her love for me." This all led Daly to examine how he loved his own children the same way. In his household, mental health isn't a taboo topic, and his children have witnessed his own experiences with it firsthand. As he wrote in an essay for Today, "The most important thing for me is that my kids see from my example that if there is something I can't control, I get help. My kids have seen the work I've put in with being open about my own mental state and also mental health in general."
Can you tell at 12 days what Goldie is going to be like?
She's headed towards professional beer drinking because she burps all the time.
In 2016, singer Christina Grimmie was shot to death at the age of 22. This tragedy hit plenty of people especially hard, including Carson Daly, who knew her from her time as a contestant on season 6 of The Voice. She was meeting fans after a concert in Florida when her attacker fired at her before shooting himself to death. She was rushed to the hospital but died within hours of the incident. The outpouring of grief from Grimmie's fans and the wider music world was profound. Daly paid her tribute during an episode of Today, as he recalled. "She would walk in a room and have an infectious laugh. She was determined, she was confident, but she was so incredibly sweet." Daly clearly had a soft spot for Grimmie, as he'd expressed surprise that she hadn't emerged as the winner during her season of The Voice. The death of Steven Twitch Boss in December 2022 at the age of 40 rocked the entertainment industry. The dancer/DJ had cultivated a huge following over the years, and among his friends and fans was Daly. As it turned out, Twitch was keen on following in his colleagues' footsteps and hosting his own talk show. As Hoda Kotb revealed on an episode of Today, he said, "Do you think I can do it? This was a person with dreams and hopes and a lot of things, so you don't know, you really don't know." Autopsy results confirmed that Twitch died by suicide on December 13, 2022. Daly weighed in on the importance of sensitivity about what his friend went through, unsurprising considering his own history with mental health. As he put it on an episode of Today, "I think people have to just stop assuming that when you see people on television, when you see them on social media, that they're okay. Especially with the dancing, and dancing is such a symbol of freedom and happiness and joy. We have to stop assuming it's taking us away when we sit on our phones and go, 'She's okay, she's okay.'"
Everybody's propping up the best part of themselves, and it's taking away from real conversations happening.
Carson Daly hasn't just struggled with his mental health, he's also endured some serious physical issues as well. He struggled with back pain for a long time, which he told his fans about in his trademark candid manner. It all traced back to a snowmobiling accident that he had back in 1997. The issue continued to plague him for decades and even landed him in the hospital on multiple occasions. Daly underwent surgery twice in 2022, a journey he chronicled on TV and social media. This included an anterior lumbar interbody fusion operation, which is a procedure that essentially combines problematic vertebrae. As the host recounted on Instagram, "Before surgery, my world was getting smaller and darker due to chronic back pain. Now the future is bright again, and I'm excited to get back to being the active dad I used to be. Now it's time to rehab physically and continue my wellness mentally." The surgery brought Daly considerable relief considering how deeply his chronic back pain had invaded multiple aspects of his life. And the post-surgery recovery proved to be quite the comprehensive process for the host. As he admitted during an episode of Today, "When I say I'm feeling better in a multitude of ways. Mentally, physically, the future is bright, but there's still a lot of work to do." If you or someone you know is struggling or in crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.